You try to launch Counter-Strike 2 on your PC and get an error, launcher error. A CPU that supports the SSE 4.2 instruction set is required. Someone in the comments has asked how to fix this error, and the answer is very simple. Follow what the error says. The error says that you need a processor that supports certain instructions, and if your processor does not support them, you have to change the hardware. But how do you know if your CPU supports the necessary instruction set? Instead of asking me in the comments under my videos, "Will Counter-Strike 2 run on my CPU, insert CPU name?" you can check it yourself. It's very easy and free. There are a number of ways to do that. The easiest is to download a time-proven free utility which is called CPU-Z. You may either download the installer or the zip archive with a program, and you don't even need to unpack it. You may run it from inside the zip archive, and it will show which instruction set your CPU supports. If you don't see SSE 4.2, Counter-Strike 2 won't launch. Once again, you need SSE 4.2, not 4.1, not SSE 4A, you need 4.2. If it doesn't appear in this list, your CPU does not support that instruction set. And those instructions are hardware features. They are inside your CPU die. You cannot install them inside your CPU. You cannot download them from internet. An emulator does exist, which is called Intel SDE, which is short for Software Development Emulator, and it works both on Intel and AMD CPUs. However, this is a software development emulator. It is used to test if a piece of software runs on a CPU with specific instruction set. It is not designed to actually run anything with decent performance. Even if you manage to launch CS2 using this emulator on a CPU that does not support the needed instruction set, you will barely get 1 FPS, so the game will be totally unplayable. That means that to run this game and to fix this error, you will need to upgrade your computer. If you're lucky, the only component you will need to change is the CPU. And that will be really cheap, since you have a very old computer and you're going to replace your CPU with another older CPU that does support those instruction set. However, most probably your computer motherboard chipset and socket is so old that you will not find a suitable CPU with the SSE 4.2 instruction set to install. That means that you will also have to replace the motherboard. In some cases, you will also need to replace the memory. Since most probably your very old computer uses DDR3 memory, the recent one is DDR5, and your motherboard replacement supporting the CPUs with the needed instruction set will most probably require DDR4. And in some cases, you will also need a new power supply. So in worst case scenario, the only thing left from your original PC is the case, the GPU, if it supports at least DirectX 11.1, because if it doesn't, you will also have to upgrade the GPU, or at least have a CPU with a decent enough built-in GPU, like some of the modern AMD Ryzen CPUs that Steam Deck uses. And maybe your disk drive. However, if you still use a hard drive, you would really want to upgrade to an SSD. So basically, it is easier to replace the entire computer than trying to upgrade it. And of course, if you have a laptop, in the majority of cases, you cannot upgrade it at all. There is no point waiting for Valve to remove the requirement for SSE 4.2 for Counter-Strike 2, since this is a free game, and Valve earns money by selling stuff to the players, and if the player cannot afford a 10-year-old PC, and to play Counter-Strike 2, you don't actually need the top-of-the-line latest PC. Anything produced in the last decade will most probably run Counter-Strike 2 just fine. So Valve thinks that if you cannot afford even a 10-year-old PC, then you are not their target user base. So the only way to fix this error is to upgrade your hardware.
I am the god of YouTube. Like, subscribe, thanks, jingle bells.